Alright guys, so patch 8.11 got released. There was a few patch notes videos that were suggested to me, but they were all super long, and I can't be asked to watch an hour-long video. Since your guys' time is valuable, I want to talk about the stuff that you guys are probably going to care about. So Infinity Edge now doesn't have any crit built into it, but it doubles your crit chance. So what you're going to want to do now is build a crit item, then build Infinity Edge. They remove the bonus crit damage as well, but now when you crit, you do some true damage. Is this going to be a buff to ADCs? It's really hard to tell. But like, for example, this will make Thornmail slightly less effective because now you do true damage, and Thornmail won't reflect true damage. They changed Essence Reverse, so now after you cast your ult, you get a bunch of stats. I can see you maybe rushing this item first on Ezreal, and it could give you a really strong all-in potential. Lord Dominik's Regards went from giving you 35% bonus armor pen to 35% total armor pen, so it does give you a little bit more armor pen, but they removed the Giant Slayer passive, so that was a pretty big buff for anything that HP stacks, like a Scion or like a Zac. Also, they nerfed more reminders, so now it only does 25% of total armor pen, but it still has the passive effect. So you're gonna have to kind of decide, like, are you gonna want to get it against a Mundo? Probably. Banner is now good against AD champions as well, as now it gives a minion 70% damage reduction total, and it gives minions some different effects. Shrilli's got nerfed a bit. Runic Echoes got buffed. Fleet Footwork is now way better on melee than it is ranged. It used to give 60% healing for melee champs when attacking minions. Now it gives 100% healing, and for range it used to give 30%, but now it only gives 20%. They also buffed the AP ratio, so there are some champs that it might be better on now, like Teemo for example, but they did nerf the range effect, so probably not that good on Teemo. Hail of Blades is basically lethal tempo for Domination Tree, but it only lasts for 3 attacks, and it applies instantly, so it's more for burst. I can see it being pretty good on like Shaco maybe. Then they moved Ultimate Hat to the Domination Tree, and now it's called Ultimate Hunter. They added Nimbus Cloak to the Sorcery Tree, and after you cast your ult, you gain 100 movement speed, which decays over 2.5 seconds, so it can be really good on engaged champs, maybe like Singed. And now you can't use Dematerializer till 4 minutes. Baron's a bit weaker. Scuttle Crab has a 15-second longer respawn time, and now if you get a minion down to 4 HP or less, it kills the minion. And that's pretty much the patch, you guys, and there's a lot of tiny things that don't really have any consequence to gameplay. And I thought this next comment was really funny. So this guy's like kind of mad they weakened turret health, so they did weaken the inhibitor turret health by 300 and the Nexus turret health by 900, but it's not really gonna matter. I mean, if you're pushing onto an inhibitor or you're pushing onto a Nexus, like, you're probably gonna win the game anyways. They also sort of eliminated the risk of taking Baron, so they nerfed Baron's attack speed by a little bit, and they nerfed his like AoE ability. But again, I mean, if you're controlling Baron, you're probably gonna win the game anyways. I also don't believe these marksman changes will really change anything. ADCs will still be too powerful. Those build a little different. And so this guy's like, you've got no idea what you're talking about, and your match history proves it. And then we go to his match history. He's playing ARAMs, Earth, and I don't think he's ever played a ranked game. He's got such strong opinions, and like, people are backing up his opinion. The last thing I want to do is go over a couple champs that actually got changed. So Taliyah now has more movement speed, so now her passive at level 1 is 30% movement speed instead of 20, so she can roam at like level 1 a lot harder. And her combat lockout is only 2 seconds, and it used to be 5 seconds, so basically she can attack after 2 seconds. She can have her passive pop back up, which means that she's a lot more mobile. Her Q no longer does AoE damage, but minions no longer take reduced damage from additional rocks, so I don't know how that's really going to affect her gameplay as far as wave clear. It might not even be a nerf. Urgot now does a lot more damage to monsters at level 1 with his passive, so he might be able to jungle a little easier now. Victor got a slight buff to his Q and his R. Jhin got a couple slight nerfs, and Yi and Nocturne got a pretty huge buff. They got nerfed by 2 damage, but they get 8% more attack speed, which is actually pretty big. They added Stormrazor for Jhin. ADC's got a 4 damage nerf at level 1, but they get more damage per level, so it's going to be the same once they're level 9. And that's the new patch. I'm going to do gameplays and go more in depth on some of these things, but that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.